It's the Jef Clo Podcast Show. We hope you like it so far, cause it's only the intro, cause it's the Jef Clo Podcast Show. Oh, it's Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo. And just in case you didn't remember, it's Jef and Clo. Jef and Clo.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Jef Clo Podcast.
Go ahead and start it, Jeff.
Well, I already started it, Dave.
Oh, good. And you did a great job.
Thank you. It's one of my best attributes is starting a show, not quite so much finishing.
Well, I hope it just goes as well as it's going so far.
Well, yeah. So did you do anything exciting this week?
I did a few things that were exciting that I can't talk about.
All right. Well, perfect for a podcast.
No. Let's see. I've been working on this dinner theater musical for a new thing here in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And I had to present it to them for the first time yesterday, and they seemed to like it very much. Laughed as I was
trying to be serious?
No, not.
And staring at me when I was trying to be funny?
Yeah, no. It was well received, which was a big load off my mind.
Okay, good. Yes, well, I'm proud of you, Dave. I know you've been working on that for a while, so.
Several months.
Yeah, it's got to be a bit of a relief. And did you run into anybody this week when you were in Memphis?
Yes, I did, actually.
Yeah?
I actually went out of my way to see if we could find the homeless man that was
episode 4
pictured, in the video that we put up of when I was talking about the fire alarm and
right.
All this commotion was going on, and yet there was a homeless guy just sleeping right there with all this crazy commotion. But
Giggles.
His name was Giggles, and so I literally have been since then hoping to find him and just kind of reach out and maybe just try to keep up with him and see if we can encourage him and, see what we can do with Giggles. But
and you bought him a brand new iPhone so that he's able to listen to the podcast now.
Close. Yeah, very close.
But you did buy him some chips.
Yes. Well, let me back up a little.
Okay.
So I finally saw who I was pretty sure was him. And some of the kids have been telling me that they've been able to reach out to some of these homeless people and try to get to know them a little bit. But I just wanted to. There's a lot of them in Memphis in that area, and I just kind of wanted to just take on Giggles as kind of a little bit of a project, maybe. So
is that the new song by Aha? Take on Giggles. I'm gonna wait for the.
Yeah, that'll probably happen in there. But anyway, so I ran into him, and I was pretty sure it was him, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I said, "Hey, what's your name?" And he looked at me like, "Who wants to know?" He was not excited about it. Me talking to him at first.
Thought you were with the KGB,
as most people assume when they see me.
Right. And
so I just said, "Is your name by any chance Giggles?" And he lit up and he went, "Yeah, Giggles," and so we just talked for a while, and
right.
I mean, he was kind of inebriated, so
so we don't think that was actually Sprite in the can, maybe not?
Well, I don't know, maybe not. But he was really just glad that somebody knew his name and stuff, so it was kind of nice. So I made a little tiny interview with him, but I'm going to see if I can keep up with him. We went in and got him some food, got him some Vienna sausage. He wanted a lot of things that I refused to buy him.
No comment.
Like cigarettes. I didn't.
Right, yes.
I wasn't going to pay for cigarettes, but I'll give him some food. And so I'm just hoping that maybe we can keep in touch. But I thought what might be cool is if maybe some people, and I only have a few more weeks of going to Memphis before the summer vacation, but if people sent some comments saying hey to him or whatever, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Because I tried to show him the podcast real quick. I don't know how much he understood of what was going on because, again, he was somewhat inebriated.
Yeah, you sent me a video, and I understood nothing that he said.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult. It took me a while, but it did. The more he kind of lit up, the more lit up, like got excited that someone
Right, not
was
cigarettes.
right. He got excited that somebody was talking to him and engaging with him. The more I kind of could understand him because the energy came into his
Gotcha.
voice, and so anyway, it was fun.
Right.
You know, you always wish that there's things you could do for people, and it comes down to they need to help themselves and care about themselves, and not be drunk all the time. You know, that's a start. But
what are you saying, Dave? Are you talking to me now? No, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Jeff. But no, that was extremely thoughtful and sweet of you. I thought it was cool that, after we, kind of broadcast a video of him just passed out in the middle of the day with 150 students milling about and an alarm going off in the distance, that you were able to reach out and, hook him up with some munchies and something, to eat. That was very cool. So we'll post that picture on our social media. And if anybody is in the Memphis area and you see Giggles, please go say hi to Giggles. Tell him hello. And
but also, if you would, underneath the picture that we'll post, post him a little message. And if I see him, I'll get him some more food, and I'll say, these people care about you. And just, see if we can add some kind of purpose for him.
No, that's very cool. So this has been the touchy-feely portion of the Jef and Clo podcast, which it is. We are going into Easter weekend, so I guess it makes sense that we actually have a slightly human moment here.
And you know what that makes today, Jeff?
Good Friday. People are going to get so confused because we keep switching the days that we're recording.
Yeah, we're going a little later this week, but
yes,
you won't be hearing this till Monday, the earliest.
But yeah, so last week I didn't do a ton. The band had no gigs. Carrie Ann and I did go up to Cleveland. I wanted to give a quick shout out. We saw a Journey tribute band there. You can find them on Facebook. They're called
Wheels in the Sky.
I want to say Majestic.
I was close.
Yes, Majestic. I almost said Majesty. Majestic, and you can just look up on Facebook, Majestic, a tribute to Journey. But no, they did a great job. Every time, I'll tell you this, though, this kept going through my head all night long. Have you ever seen Basketball?
Of course.
Of course. So every time they're like on stage, all I keep thinking is Steve Perry. But the Steve Perry, he did a great job. He actually even went to the point of changing his outfits between their two sets, and really good group of guys. Got a chance to meet and talk with all of them, and
was that?
Go ahead.
Well, was that? I want to know if changing the outfits was that part of the show, or did he have an accident during the first half?
No. No, it was part of the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Yeah. Have you ever been a part of a tribute band at all?
Just the one, the Jef Clo tribute band.
I actually had for a very brief period of time, I had a Tenacious D tribute band. And it was like full character. I had just put on enough weight that I had a little bit of the Jack Black gut going.
Still going.
And everything was just complete skits and bits from their HBO show mingled with the music. And then my Kyle?
Was it Kyle?
He actually quit the band, which was very fitting. Last week, Kyle quit the band. But yeah, he quit the band after our very first premiere show. And then I just decided that it had taken months to get that put together and sounding good, so it died pretty quickly.
It's weird how popular tribute bands are right now, because it makes you, it just makes you think that maybe just regular bands aren't good enough right now. We need lots and lots of tribute bands.
Well, I think it's one of those things where, where I used to be all about the original music, and I thought that I'm not going to do covers unless it's like this totally original remake. And now, with the Love Benders, we do covers, but it's because that's what people want to hear. It is so hard to draw a crowd, especially in, the modern industry where everything is just oversaturated. Everyone has a home studio. Anyone can put out an album. It's so hard to really get recognized. We're actually going to kind of discuss a shift at some point in the show here in how music... Well, we can even talk about it right now. Why do we have to wait?
Yeah, we don't have to. We do what we want.
That's right. But I've noticed, so as I mentioned, Game of Thrones, in the last episode, I said, by the time this airs, the new Game of Thrones season, the final season will have aired. And the music for that, it's so synonymous now. They're using it in sporting events. But it got me thinking, like, there's not really a whole lot of shows anymore. I mean, I remember growing up in the 80s, and it was like every TV show, whether it was drama, comedy, they all had like a dedicated theme song with lyrics.
Yeah.
They got famous musicians to write and record the theme songs, and I don't know where that lives anymore. I can't think of a recent series like that.
I used to play down in Miami, Florida, with some different kind of wedding, bar mitzvah bands, bat mitzvahs as well. And one of the things that they do... Which
is for Jewish robots.
Yeah, right. I believe that's the female version of a bar mitzvah.
Yes, you're correct.
So, but one of the things that we would do as kind of part of the games, it would be like, name that tune.
Right.
And it would be like TV theme songs that they could recognize.
Gotcha.
And it just seemed like even as the months went by, but definitely as the years went by, the new batch of 13-year-olds had no idea.
Right.
And we were having the hardest time finding theme songs
that were modern.
Yeah, and something that you could actually play.
Yeah, all you really had at that point was like Friends. I'll be there for you.
Nice. But you'd try to play something like the Jetsons, and they'd be, I've never heard that.
Right.
It's a classic. It was awful.
I think probably one of the most clever, lyrically written theme songs ever was Batman. They really went to great lengths with Batman.
Yeah. And that, by the way, for any of my students listening, is a 12-bar blues, and that has
Why does it only have to be for your students? Are we not allowed to teach the remainder of the people anything?
Yeah, well, that's for my students that are probably getting tired of hearing me talk about the 12-bar blues and its importance.
Gotcha. Which is actually when you visit a dozen drinking locations in one night and you're sad. The 12-bar blues. Man, I am awful tonight.
Yeah.
I am not punny.
You're so bad, I could write a blues song about it.
Would it be 12 bars?
Yep. Got a friend named Jeff. No. He's only got one F. No. Some people claim that's why. He only sometimes can make you laugh. There it is.
So yeah, there you go.
Bring out the harmonica.
Yes.
We'll finish that one up and play it at the next Jef Clo show, when and wherever that may be.
All right, I hope not. So did you have any like favorite like theme songs when you were growing up that you loved?
Well, there was one for this show where there was this really, really handsome man, as Jeff would tell you, and these two dorks and an old dusty fella. Just sit right back and you hear it, Dale. As a really little kid, that was fun.
Uh-huh.
And they just don't have theme songs like that anymore. But
I mean,
I'll think of some more. You do one.
Yeah, like Seinfeld, like, was even just that, which actually I believe that was Danny Elfman, who does all of the Tim Burton movies. I'm a giant Danny Elfman fan. I think he's the one.
That's ironic.
He also did The Simpsons.
Giant Elfman fan. Yeah, that's like Simpsons. Sure, that's a great little thing.
Yeah, and I think to this day, cartoons are about the only thing that really follow the old premise of let's try and tell a little story and set up the show for you. Greatest American Hero was probably always, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. That was I just loved that show.
Sure, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. I mean, such an amazing concept. This was back before the superheroes were just saturating the scene like they do nowadays. And you've got this superhero with powers that he can't control and just flying into walls. And as a matter of fact, as a child, I watched that show and loved it so much that I would dream that I was flying and I never had control, just like the Greatest American Hero. So I was always crashing into things, or I would get really high up in the sky and realize that I'd gotten myself high, but I didn't know how to descend, and I would just plummet to the ground. And let me tell you, they say when you fall and you hit the ground in your dream, you wake up. That didn't always happen to me. I
Really?
experienced
You dream all the pain and going to the hospital and having surgery on your spleen.
Well, I don't.
You had the full aftermath.
I don't think I got the spleen surgery.
Of a newer theme song for cartoons. I always liked that one. It was called Gravity Falls. Did you ever watch that show?
No, I don't think I haven't seen that one. I think my son used to watch it.
It's not like I watch it every day. No. No, I had a lot of students that wanted to learn that theme song on guitar, and it was a really fun little piece.
Was it 12 Bar Blues?
Not that one. No.
No. Okay.
It's 13.
All right. That was a very awkward song.
But you're right. The cartoons still kind of keep that. Like Family Guy, I felt like they were trying to go for that old cartoon flavor, and so they intentionally went with this great little theme song. But
yeah, I can't think of anything in recent history. It's just so weird the way that culture shift happened.
Yeah, what's the theme song for the Big Bang Theory? That's the one.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that have a theme song? I can't even remember.
Yeah, it does, and it was written by very similar back in the 80s, early 90s when they still used to do that. I can't remember the band that does it, but it's a pretty significant band,
Jeff,
that does that song.
It was the band called the Bare Naked Ladies.
But of course, that's done by the same creator as 2.5 Men, which is right up there with Batman.
Yeah.
Where it's manly man, didn't really write a whole lot of words for it
or script,
but it was still very, very catchy.
Sure, but
it didn't really tell a story. Like you mentioned, Gilligan's Island or things like that. You kind of got an idea what the show was about before it even started, and not that there's anything wrong with the way shows do it now. I find it odd.
Yes, there is.
Okay, fine. Do you have any favorite sitcoms?
No, it seems like, let me just say to that last thing you said, it seems like music in general keeps slowly getting more and more dumbed down,
Well, yeah.
We went from classical music to jazz, which is still not dumbed down at all, but I definitely don't think of it as quite as extensive as an orchestra.
Well, luckily with jazz, I mean, the whole premise of jazz is play any note you want as fast as you can.
No.
And wear a cool hat. No, I'm kidding. I like jazz. I was in jazz band.
Oh, so you're an expert. But anyway, then, rock seemed a little dumbed down from that, and then pop seems dumbed down from that. And then, And then whatever it is we're happening now with new country.
Yeah. It's new country is essentially just a blend of rock and pop with a slight twang.
True. I don't know. It's just to the point where we're doing the same 4 chords in the same order.
Right.
And that's getting me down.
I hear modern pop songs now by the bigger stars out there, and I'm listening to the music and even the way that they're singing it. I'm like, this is identical to what we used to listen to in the 80s. I mean, it's almost like, the way clothes fashions just come back and recycle. That's exactly what's happening with music right now.
Coming back, but yet still a little bit dumber.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't hear the really cool mono synth solo or, it just feels like just make it fit in this tiny box.
Right. One of the more recent releases that came out that's just really dumb is these artists, Jef and Clo. They put out an album.
Gosh.
And the music isn't dumb.
Guys.
It's just the guys that put out the album are morons.
Yeah. But to their defense.
Oh, he's going to defend us.
We love them.
That's very narcissistic of us.
We would like to see them make a lot of money someday.
That's right. So please go listen. We beg you.
In the most respectful way.
Do you have any whether it be current or past, what would you say are your top 3 favorite sitcoms of all time?
Arrested Development is I think one of the smartest things. It was too smart.
Very smart.
Way too smart for the average person, but not talking about any of our lovely listeners. Probably what hurt it every time was the fact that they had, you kind of to get all the jokes, you had to go back to the beginning.
Right.
That definitely ranks up there. Now you do one, and while I think.
See, when I try and think of like my favorites of all time, what I think about is like rewatchability. So what are like a show, like for example, my favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. And I know that because it's on 150 million times a year, and every time I see it on a guide, I have to flip to it and watch. So like I'm watching The Office again for the umpteenth time, and I just still enjoy it. So I would say that I definitely enjoy that. And you know, watching it, the more you kind of analyze that you watch something over and over again, it's actually a show that they could not make now. And just because of all the political correctness, you know, even though it hasn't been off the air that long, it's reminiscent of back in the 80s and 90s when people said, like, All in the Family. You know, we wouldn't be able to get away with that now. Same thing with The Office. I mean, it's Michael Scott being aloof, but there are things that are so racist and sexist and offensive in that show.
But what people sometimes don't understand is it's making fun of the people who are racist, sexist, and offensive.
Right. And in Michael Scott's defense, he's just, like I said, he's completely aloof. He doesn't intend to, you know, say anything malicious or hurtful. He's just such an idiot and self-centered that he just doesn't think before he speaks. But yeah, I love The Office.
Yeah, I was a big BBC Office guy long before the American one was made.
Right.
And when the American one came out, I hated the first season. I just thought it was terrible.
Really?
Because I was used to other characters, and you know, they just changed it enough. But it seemed like they found their own groove by the second season.
Yeah.
I didn't see it till about 4 years later because I just refused to watch it. And then when I went back and started watching some of the Office, then I, of course, got caught up and have seen them all.
Oh, right.
And they're great.
Which I do. I really like the BBC version. I think one thing that I think the BBC version excelled at, where the American Office fell flat, was here's this premise that you've got a documentary recording crew from a like public broadcasting network, and for some reason on the American version, these people spent 10 years of their lives filming without ever airing a single episode. And then finally, after 10 or 11 years, they put out like a 2-hour special on these people. And that was completely unrealistic. I liked how the BBC version, it was one season of recording the documentary, and then one season you're looking at the fallout or the things that happened in their lives post-airing the documentary.
Right. Yeah.
So it definitely created a bit more of a sense of realism. And David Brent is just cringeworthy at every turn. Yes.
He definitely invented the cringe comedy.
Yes, absolutely.
Where you don't know whether to like the guy or hate the guy. And,
exactly. And that's where Michael Scott was a slightly different. He still had that idiocy.
He was still more lovable all the way through.
Yes, he was. Because again, he was just so aloof. So have you thought of a second show? These don't.
Well, okay. This is a new one for me. Like,
okay.
You told me that your son was into it, but you have never seen it. This is a cartoon that I'm watching, and like I'm addicted to it now. I watch at least 3 or 4 episodes a night, trying to get caught up. Mm-hmm. Going back to our talking about binging. It's called Rick and Morty.
I've not seen it.
And it's kind of a cartoon takeoff of Doc and Marty from Back to the Future.
Okay.
They're going to, by the time I get to the end, I'm going to be sure that there's no way in the world that anyone can ever write a new, unique science fiction anything because they have covered everything. I mean,
really,
it is amazing what they're doing with science fiction. It's truly...
Well, it's easier with a cartoon.
Yes,
you're not limited by special effects.
But they're also, I mean, it's the writing. The writing is really pretty ingenious, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to...
Most of you, if you've seen it, will probably go, what? But again, I'm watching it from the beginning, and I'm like seeing how it's adding to it. And I'm watching it with my son, and we're enjoying it. It does get a little PG at times, I will say, but My son is 62, so that's fine. No, I'm not that old.
But between your love of Rick and Morty and Gravity Falls, you are exposing the fact that you have the taste of a 12-year-old.
Yes, but that's okay.
That's okay. That is okay.
Yeah, but see, you know what, though? I understand it more than they do.
They
just like the flash and
the visuals.
All the hoopla. See, I have a deeper connection.
I gotcha. Yeah, so my second one, I'm going to lump in two shows together because it's the same creator. That would be both Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, which...
Oh, yeah. Big fan.
I think
Big fan of both.
The thing that really sets those shows apart, and a lot of other shows have tried to emulate, is that the golden rule that Larry David insisted when they did Seinfeld was that our characters never learn anything. Like
so there's no
lesson to be taught, no improvement to their characters, and a lot of people really
character
hated.
Arc.
Yes, exactly. But a lot of people really hated the final episode of Seinfeld. I thought it was great personally. It just summed up what foul people and individuals they were from a character perspective, not characters in a show, but the character of their character. And it just sent them to jail for a year, and they actually ended. It was very clever. The last line of the show with the four of them sitting in a jail cell that Jerry's talking to George is actually a line that Jerry says to George in the first episode of the show, in the pilot. So it was like, it really brought this closure.
Bring it all back around.
Yep. So, and Curb Your Enthusiasm is brilliant. I was so glad they brought it back for a new season last year. But yeah, I put those kind of in the same category.
Yeah, definitely brilliant. I noticed that both of us are all about comedy.
Well, I want to talk about comedy because this is a comedy show.
Yeah, true. Well, I was going to say it's ironic because this is probably one of our least funny shows.
That's okay. Well, I'm sure at some point you'll start making faces and it'll just be a laugh fest.
Or maybe one of us will say something funny.
Hold on.
That would be good. Who's our visitor there?
That's my cat who is fighting
I'm allergic to cats, Jeff.
Sinus infection, and she's on day 2 of her antibiotics, and she is having a coughing fit at the moment, as you can hear.
I couldn't hear.
The joys of recording at home.
Achoo.
Oh, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my software to see if. Yeah, it's picking it up.
I thought that was you.
No, that was not me.
Achoo.
So I want to say probably my third one would be MASH.
But yeah, so those are definitely some of my favorites. MASH, of course, I was raised on MASH. Okay, well then we'll agree on MASH as a mutual third.
Again, as the editor,
you're gonna say it first.
I'll put me in saying it before you.
My dad was like just MASH junkie, so I remember like when syndication started to become a thing, and so MASH would be on every evening, and I mean it was just always on the TV. My dad would record them on VHS tapes, and then he would take 2 VHS tapes and he would bounce them so that he could try and get them in order.
They didn't really bounce.
But he didn't know the exact order of every episode because this was pre-internet. This was probably 1990 or so. So in my school library, there was this giant hardback book called The Complete Book of MASH. And again, but pre-internet, you can't just order it through Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And he asked me to check this book out, which I did so he could look at all the episode order. And I apologize, Hilliard Davidson High School, but my dad had me go back to the library and tell them that I lost it because he realized. Now, he did send me with money to pay for the replacement, which what high school needs to have the complete book of MASH in it in 1990 or 91 anyway?
Justification.
But yeah, so I never forget that memory.
Yeah. Your dad will be hearing a knock on the door soon.
I've reported you.
The library police, which is a Seinfeld thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a whole episode about the library police.
I remember there's something about the marked book for George.
Oh, that was when George took it into the bathroom.
Yeah, and then somehow, as he tried to return it, every single bookstore knew it was marked.
Including the thrift store.
Yeah.
This has been flagged.
This has been flagged, that's right.
And then he was trying to give it to people he tried to give it to Elaine as a gift.
So instead of us being funny, we'll just talk about funny things.
Yeah, there you go. That works. And before we're done here today, we are going to do another Slow Clo Trivia Show. I know that's got to be a fan favorite at this point.
It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show. It's the Slow Clo Trivia. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait, do your imitation of it again, and then I'll do the actual.
Slow Clo Trivia Show. It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show.
Something like that.
Why do I even need to slow my voice down when you can do that? It's pretty good.
I'm an impressionist, so I can do these things.
Hey, let's do some impressions. Go.
Well, I've already done walking. What do you?
Can you do Bob's Burgers?
No, I've not watched that. I'm unlike you. I gave up cartoons a while ago.
Unlike me.
You're adding cartoons to your diet.
Somewhere, I forget where, but I think he also does the voice of Archer with the exact same voice as he does as Bob.
Let me point out, Archer is another cartoon that Dave is watching.
No, I'm not watching it, but I saw that somewhere. I think on Archer he was doing something and somebody asked the character in Archer to you do impressions. He goes, yes, I do the guy from Bob's Burgers, and then he just kept talking normal because it's the exact same voice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to be remiss if we're sitting here talking about TV shows that make us laugh and we don't mention when I was down recording in the studio in August and we just could not stop watching clips of the Tim and Eric awesome show. Good job.
Oh, good job.
Yes. And of course, at the time, I had seen a lot of clips of John C. Reilly's Dr. Brule's Rules.
Dr. Steve Brules.
Yes. And since then, I came back and my son and I have started to binge the entire series. And Tim Heidecker is just a genius. I know you love the editing on that show. It's ridiculous.
I'm hoping to live up to that standard someday.
I'm pretty sure there's...
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's very weird.
Well, what happens is if you're a fan of comedy, eventually you feel like I've heard that, I've seen that, I've heard that. So you're just constantly looking for something new, and I think that's what drove me to some of the wacky BBC stuff that I've watched.
Right.
Just because it's like, wow, that's so weird.
Yeah.
But it made me giggle.
Giggles. Don't forget to go find Giggles.
Yeah.
We'll post his picture and leave comments.
Yes.
So I'm going to shift gears here on us because I am actually somebody who I like to browse and peruse the news. Ooh, there's a nice little rhyming phrase for you there.
Not really.
Peruse the news. Perusing the news with Jeff. Perusing the news. Perusing the news. Ooh. But we're not reading about Peru. Okay, that didn't make any sense. That was the worst theme song ever. But I'm sure Dave is going to put some music behind it.
As you said to me once, that's definitely staying in there because I want to see you humiliated.
Humiliated, yes. No, so there apparently somebody just got a Guinness World Record.
That was me.
A movie. Oh, okay. Was it for being the lamest person on the earth?
No.
Watching the most cartoons?
For having a podcast with the lamest person on earth.
Oh, okay. Oh, good comeback. We're both behaving like we're 7.
That's a real award now, okay?
Well, let me talk to you about some of these Guinness records, and you're going to find out how easy it is to get in the Guinness Book of World Records. This guy, the Captain Marvel movie that just came out, I mean, this thing has not been out very long, and he broke the Guinness record by seeing it 116 times in the theater. Now, let me clarify, this movie has not been out that long. How is there a record to break? I mean, the thing is probably still in the theaters at this point. Wow. Yeah, 104 screenings was the previous record that he had to break. But I'm looking at this, I'm like...
Is that in a row?
No, it's not in a row. But he had to have people take pictures of him. Well, yeah, that wouldn't be possible. But I'm going to tell you about a few other ridiculous Guinness records, because I remember growing up and looking at the Guinness Book of World Records, and it was always like the tallest man, or the oldest woman, or the dude in India that had these crazy 14-feet fingernails that curl around themselves. Yeah.
That's the one I remember, too, yeah.
Well, that's because they're super long fingernails, which are really weird. So let me tell you...
I had to eventually cut them.
And then you moved back to America.
It was just... It's so impractical.
Yeah, that's okay. We know that untangible, intangible, you just add uns and ins wherever you choose.
My mouth says whatever it wants to say.
Prefix Dave. So when I saw this ridiculous Guinness World Record, I decided I'm going to go see if I can find some other stupid world records out there. This is not that old either. This is this just was from April 17th, so just a few days ago. And I'll be honest with you, the way that the article starts and is titled is very misleading. New Zealand teen attempting swing record. Okay. First off, he's only a teen, so that seems awkward.
Yeah.
Charlie O'Brien, 16.
Don't you have to be married to swing?
Well, hold on. Let me read the first few words of the article.
Okay.
Charlie O'Brien, 16, started swinging at 6 a.m. Wednesday.
Wow.
And but then luckily they said on the swing set at Taradale Park. His goal was to last for 40 hours, and he needed to beat 32 hours on a swing set. Now, here's what I don't like about this record is it says that he is allowed a 5-minute break once an hour for eating, drinking, and bathroom time. I would love that these records have to be broken without any of that.
Yeah. I mean,
poop your pants if you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's somebody that really wants to get a record.
That's a real record. Yeah.
Yeah, then you broke the record for the most craps taken on a swing set.
Yeah.
While swinging at a very young age. So, real quick, I just got a little handful. These aren't recent. These are just some that are just ridiculous. Here's one, the furthest distance to blow a pea. And for our listeners out there that can't read, PEA, the furthest distance to blow a pea. 7.51 meters. I'm American, so I don't know how long that is.
Why does blowing a PEA almost make less sense to me than what I first thought?
Right. Most straws stuffed in the mouth. A guy basically had 400 straws in his mouth and had to hold them for 10 seconds without using his hands. How are these world
standard?
records?
Is that standard straw or is that the 2A NCC straw?
I do not know. I'm not an expert on straws. I think he basically collected all of the straws that they outlawed in California and just jammed them into his mouth.
Yeah.
Most toilet seats broken by the head in 1 minute. Give me a guess, Dave. How many toilet seats do you think this man broke over his head in 1 minute?
I thought you were going to make me guess what that even meant. Okay. Over his head, toilet seats broken in 1 minute?
1 minute.
Okay, so 60 would be 1 per second. The math hour there.
Yeah, but he's got to pick them up.
I know. So I'm going. It's got to take more like at least 4 seconds. So 60 divided by 4. There's my answer.
We might need Siri to come in and do the math.
That's
for
easy.
us.
15.
Actually, you're going to be way off. It was 46. 46
Wow.
toilet seats in 60 seconds. Yeah.
Must have been the cheap seats.
That's more than 1 per 2 second.
Yeah.
It's like 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. Good job.
That's from
longest
here
eyelash
to here.
Yeah, but longest eyelash. Now, see, this one I like. This is like the fingernail, or it's like saying the biggest feet, because this lady's eyelashes are insane. It looks like long hair. They, let me see here. Wait
a minute. Does she like comb them over like guys do when they're losing their hair? not Jeff, but like a comb over.
No, not me with my shameless plugs.
That'd be cool though if you could grow your eyelashes out and flip them over the top of your head.
That would look so handsome. Right. I'd be like the professor at that point. But no, 4.88 inches long are her eyelashes.
Wow. All of them crazy. are just one? Because I got one that's that long.
No, it was all of them. It was weird looking.
But it's actually it's growing out of my ear. Is that different?
Well, that's technically not an eyelash. That's an ear lash.
Okay.
But like some of these though, I'm not going to go through all these, but like
do
the
'em all.
largest collection of rubber ducks. So this lady has 5,631 rubber ducks in her home. But think about it. This is where I don't like these records is, let's say I found on Amazon or eBay somebody that had a bunch of rubber ducks for 50 cents a pop. That means for $3,000, I could buy my way in and shatter her record. I don't think you should be able to buy your way into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, but you know what? No one cares about the largest collection of ducks, rubber ducks. No one cares. No one's going, oh, good job.
No one cares about this kid swinging on a swing set for a day and a half.
Right, but what they do care about is Eyelash Lady.
Right.
They care about her. They're like,
So
hey,
I think she's legit.
That's impressive. Yeah.
She's legit.
They're just trying to fill up a book. And just like you and I both saw the picture of the guy with the fingernails that curled around and went down to his feet and back up and down.
Right.
And we remember that 20 years later.
So I'm going to challenge us now based on knowing how you can just be ridiculous and get in the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm going to challenge us to come up and submit our own record to be in. And I'm going to propose that we start with most Jef Clo Podcast episodes recorded by Jef Clo. I'm pretty sure we hold the Guinness World Record for that.
Wow, that's good.
Yes, so we're going to do our Slow Clo Trivia Show.
Oh, okay.
And to wrap this up, so...
It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show. It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
We wrote that theme song, by the way.
I wanted to make this similar to a conversation we had earlier. I am going to give you a lyric from a TV theme song. Most of these, of course, will be from the 70s or 80s, and I want you to tell me the TV show that it's from.
I'm not young enough to remember those.
Oh, whatever. You just told us your son was 62.
It's a weird science thing.
Oh, okay. I got you. So some of these will probably be pretty easy. There's some that actually, like, I know the show intimately, but I never realized that was a line in the lyrics. So I'm hoping I can throw you for a loop. There's 9 of these. Again, we always go with odd numbers so that we can hope for success or abject failure. So here we go. This is a very seemingly inappropriate line when extracted from the rest of the theme song. We've a lovable space that needs your face.
Say it one more time. It broke up.
We've a lovable space that needs your face.
Boy. I'm guessing it's Three's Company, so I'm trying to.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
We've a lovable space that needs your face. Three's Company too. Which I'm pretty sure Alan Thicke was a writer.
So that
on
was
song.
the next line. Three's Company too.
Yes.
All
That's
right,
why I can't. You don't need to tell me the next line. You just need to tell me the show that it's from.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Flying away on a wing and a prayer.
That's the Greatest American Hero.
Yes, that's right. So this is the problem of us discussing
Believe
these
it
shows.
or not, I'm walking on air. I remember that.
Correct. All right, you are 2 for 2.
And I'm already on the second one, understanding the rules.
Yes.
Which is
That's always a big part of any kind of game show.
Well, the Slow Clo Trivia Show, that we might have to change the name if I keep this up.
2?
Quicker Clo. Not
I see what
as
you mean.
slow Clo.
Well, I thought you were going to say slower because it took you 2 questions just to figure out the premise.
Well, usually it's 3 or 4.
Okay. So yeah, you're improving.
I'm picking it up quickly.
All right, so this is the one that I think it should probably be a dead giveaway, but I didn't realize this was actually the words. Through the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Flintstones.
That's right. 3 for 3. I should have made these harder.
You should have.
Okay. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills, and this is not Nip Tuck.
Shazam? Not Nip Tuck. Superman? I don't know.
No, it's the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh.
Waylon
Boy.
Jennings wrote that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just some good old boys.
Yep.
I don't remember that. Sing the line. Satan. So you got to prove it.
I don't remember.
I think you made it up.
No, it's I don't remember. Now you threw me for a loop. This isn't the Slow Jef Trivia Show. You'll put me on the spot. I pulled these off the internet. It has to be right.
You do one. Keep looking for the grass in the places.
Keep looking for the grass and you're just making stuff up.
Yeah, like you are.
No,
And then
I'm
throwing
not.
some show name to it.
No. Okay, here we go. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance.
Boy, when you said set a course for adventure, I was like, oh, I got this, and then I lost it. Set a course for adventure and your mind on
Your
romance.
mind on a new romance.
On new romance. Mm-hmm. So that's got to be The Land of the Lost.
Nope, The Love Boat.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh,
That one seemed obvious.
It was
right.
obvious.
Okay, so you're
I'm
You're
back
3
to
for
Slow
5.
Clo. I'm back
Yes,
to Slow
that's
Clo.
right. Good. That's the idea. Otherwise, we will have to rename it. All right. I got in one little fight, and my mom got scared. Got in one little fight, and my mom got scared.
This is what's his name show. Will.
Getting there.
What was the name of that show? It's so obvious. I just
Where was he? Where did his mom send him?
yeah. Beverly Hills.
Not quite.
Well, somewhere out that way to live with his uncle.
You're listening to Slow Clo
This
on
is
the
Slow
Slow
Clo
Clo Network.
At work. This is how the mind of a Slow Clo works.
That's right. 7 minutes later. Beverly, Los Angeles.
No,
I'm gonna have to buzz you on this one. You've taken
Beverly
far
Hills
too long.
Ninja. No,
No, it is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
Oh gosh! All you had to get me was fresh, and I would have been there.
Well, you're 50%. You're 50% with 3 to go. You should get this next one. Town to town and up and down the dial. Town to town and up and down the dial.
But 'cause if you ever wondered what happened,
Yep. What's the show?
WKRP. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
That's right.
The delay made it impossible for us to sing that together.
But when you line it up, it'll sound great. It sounded
Let's
good
try it
on my
again.
end.
WKRP in
Well,
Cincinnati.
first, hold on. Try it again, and this time find a pitch.
I was right on there. WKRP in Cincinnati.
I was on a very weird harmony.
I was
there.
on.
All right, that's never going to work.
And yeah, we'll edit that out.
Okay, or you'll leave it for the humiliation of harmony.
Yeah, we might as well humiliate ourselves even more.
I was on a weird like Phrygian minor, and I should have been on a modal major. I'm pretty sure that was a 12-bar blues.
Maybe the first 4-bar blues.
No, it's not. Okay, so we got 2
Go
more.
ahead.
You have 4 out of 7, so you are winning. It's like a kind of torture to have to watch the show. It's like a kind of torture to have to watch the show.
Is that the Jef Clo Show theme song? Is that our
No,
new,
but I would like to point out if anyone...
Is that our new theme song?
Our new line this week? Yes. If anyone hasn't noticed, if you have listened to every episode, hopefully you've noticed that we change a line in the beginning of our theme song every single week for your listening pleasure. So if you've not listened to a bunch of episodes, go back and just check out the beginnings, at least to hear that. So I'm going to read this to you one more time after a shameless plug. It's like a kind of torture to have to watch the show.
I can't begin to tell you what that is.
It's the
That's
Muppet
re-
Show.
Oh, I don't remember that line at all.
The 2 old men sitting up in the balcony. When they cut to them during the theme song, they tell you it's like a kind of torture to have to watch the show.
No, how does that go though?
I don't remember that one either. But it's when they cut away to the old men up in the balcony, I believe.
Making it up with Jef.
All right, so you are 4 for 8 right now. So you have 4 correct, 4 wrong with 1 to go. So this is the deciding factor.
Whether I'm an object failure.
Abject failure, not an object failure.
Your Honor, I object.
Again, Dave with his prefix failures. Now, I think you're going to get this one, but which is unfortunate because I love when you lose. We've done 2 of these Slow Clo Trivia shows in the past. You are 1-1 right now, so you might give yourself a winning record with this one. If not for the courage of the fearless crew,
the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost.
Of course, I couldn't do this without a Gilligan's Island reference.
Gilligan's Island. That was too easy.
I know. Well,
give me a bonus one. I want to fail. No.
You want a bonus one?
No, I'm
kidding. I can give you. Let me think here.
I just want to be clear. I've already won the Red Lobster gift certificate, right, Jeff?
What about this bonus? It's like you're always stuck in second gear. It's like you're always stuck in second gear.
This is from Friends.
Yep. See, all right. You're
so
too good at this one.
I've killed it this week.
You killed it. So before we get any further beyond the delinquency of our 45-minute target, Dave's trying to make the faces. I'm becoming immune to this, Dave.
I haven't begun to take. I can make you laugh anytime I want.
I know you could. Here it comes. He just creeps. He creeping.
That'll teach you to be overconfident.
Oh boy, I just can't even talk at the moment. And as you've pointed out before, I for some reason can't look away.
I did one of my favorites.
Past an accident.
That was one of my favorite scenes from what was that bowling movie?
Kingpin.
Kingpin, yeah.
Yes. So some people might imagine what you just did to me.
We'll leave
but there's
it at
a
that.
there's a lot of gnarly stuff in Kingpin, so that's leaving it wide open to interpretation. Speaking of which, I watch that movie probably at least 3 times a year. Love it.
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies.
Anytime, is that the Coen brothers, right? No.
That's Farrelly Brothers.
I knew it was brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Brothers Grimm. It's 2 men in a truck.
The Jonas Brothers.
I knew it was brothers.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up before we get things too far along. We do want to reiterate that you can catch a new episode of the Jef Clo Podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
You just can't look away. You're just trying to talk, and I'm not even doing anything other than leaning. All I was doing was leaning to one side, and he starts laughing.
But with this look on your face, like you were the kid on the swing that was trying not to poop his pants. It was this hard concentration.
It was a stellar look, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I want to reiterate our album, which we will play a song for you here soon. Jef and Clo, Another Stupid Joke. What are you, Data from Star Trek? Or is
Exactly.
that Data? I don't know. Yes. Or one of the X-Men. He didn't wear one of those. I'm thinking of the dude from X-Men. Or did he wear like a weird visor? I don't remember. We do want to point out again, if you want to sponsor or advertise on the Jef and Clo Show, we now have listenership in Australia, including the UK. So visit sales@jeffandclo.com. Dave's going for a world record. He's got a pick in a place I don't want to tell you. He's picking with a pick, but it ain't a guitar. That's right. Also go to jeffandclo.com to get your Jef and Clo hat. And before we record the next episode, I will be finalizing the design for the t-shirt, which we will send to Ryan Appel at Ryan Apparel, and he will look at the design and say, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah. I showed him that today. I had lunch with Ryan today and his lovely mother, Terry. And I showed him the idea that I was doing, and he was left speechless. He was literally just going, shaking his head.
Well, I've got a slight modification on it that will brand us a little bit more.
When do I get to see it?
I haven't finished it yet, so like
It
I said,
doesn't
within
have
the
to be that, Jeff. You can come up with something better if you want.
Well, no,
But
I'm
think
gonna.
it's pretty.
I'm gonna. Don't worry, I've got a variation on that, but it's a very minor variation. It's still your
Really?
idea. Not your ID. It is your idea.
It's kind of my ID too. That iTunes boy.
So again, I'm going to go ahead since we played the song for Brian Angelo and I got deviated from playing Blue Skies last week. Let's go ahead and finish the show. I do want to play Blue Skies.
And that's another one of my favorites. I like Blue Skies.
Yeah. All right. So enjoy Blue Skies and please tune in to the Jef Clo Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. New episodes every Monday. There are 6 episodes as of now, with this one coming out, and we're going to be putting one out every week. Again, go back and listen if you haven't listened to all the episodes, and check out the varying line in the theme song at the beginning of each one. And I think that wraps it up for this episode, Dave.
Yeah, I think so.
All righty, well, I will talk to you soon. Love you, Dave.
Love you too, Jeff. Bye-bye.
Tom, Dick, and Harry are down by the schoolyard, picking fresh flowers for girls. Sarah and Jackie are giggling and laughing, and joking that boys are the worst. Blue skies or rain, they don't care. Blue skies turn gray. He was there, life just moves on. Harry was shopping, his hairline receding. He still can't put bad things behind. Sarah's just getting some wine and some chicken. She notices him in the line. Blue skies up here, he was there. Blue skies turn gray. She was there, life just moves on. Sarah is busy with grandkids and knitting. She smiles from the porch as they play. Harry is walking his dog on the sidewalk. He sees her, his breath goes away. Blue skies go gray, they don't care. Blue skies all day, they were there, life just moved